Welcome to your VMSG dashboard Public Health Performance Management System. As you may recall from the VMSG introduction module, the first step in performance management is the creation of operational plans in the dashboard. In this training module, we'll walk through the process to develop an operational plan from scratch, as well as demonstrate the process to enter an existing plan into the VMSG dashboard. Most health departments have already developed several high-level plans. For those of you who are pursuing FAB accreditation, you probably have what FAB calls their six-pack of plans: the strategic plan, the community health assessment plan, community health improvement plan, quality improvement plan, emergency operations plan, and a workforce development plan. If you have one or more of these plans already developed in Word or PDF format, we'll walk through the process of getting the plan entered into the dashboard. If you're in the process of developing your plans, we'll show you the best practices for developing new plans. Let's start quickly by reviewing the dashboard planning model. The dashboard was developed around the public health standard planning model. What does this look like? Let's start by envisioning a pyramid. At the very top of the pyramid is the organization, which is typically your health department. The next level down is your org chart. They're your groups. Groups can be divisions, offices, even programs such as WIC, emergency preparedness, community health, etc. In some cases, it might include plans like your strategic plan or your CHIP. Each group has a set of services that they provide to the community, to their partners, or to the department. Initiatives are those services you plan to provide in the future. Each service and initiative has a set of goals. Under each goal is a set of measurable objectives. These are the what you're trying to accomplish. Each objective then has a specific set of activities. These are the how you'll accomplish the objective. We found that most public health operational plans fit this model pretty closely. We do occasionally see cases where nomenclature at each level is a bit different. Let's look at some of the variations we've seen and talk about how to structure them into the dashboard. These are some of the various planning structures we've seen in health departments across the nation. You can see how each maps to the VMSG planning model. In this example, at the service initiative level, we have what they call strategic priorities. Strategic priorities is probably the most common nomenclature for services and initiatives in strategic plans. In this case, we have strategic areas as our services and initiatives, goals equals goals, outcome objectives for objectives, and then strategies as the activities. You may notice that strategies kind of appear anywhere, so I've seen them at every level in the plan here. In this case, we have priorities as our top level, then goals, objectives, and action steps versus activities. Now, action steps is probably one of the most common terminologies we see for the activity level. In this case, we have priority areas again, goals, strategies down there again, and then action steps. Priorities, goals, objectives, and strategies as activities this time. And then strategies at the top, strategic objectives, and then action steps. I think you can see that regardless of the specific nomenclature, each plan fits nicely into the pyramid model here. Here are some real examples of plan elements at each level in the pyramid. Which division, office, or program does the plan belong to? Or, in the case of primary plans, is it a group within itself? The dashboard group structure is hierarchical from 1 to 10. Your top level group is your level 1 group. Groups reporting to that level 1 group are typically level 2 groups. Groups reporting to level 2 groups are level 3 groups, and so on. Primary plans, like the FAB six-pack of plans, are typically entered as separate subgroups. Here are some examples of groups. The department, typically your level 1 group, the highest level group in the organization. Your strategic plan is typically a group within itself as a level 2 group reporting up into your department as a level 1 group. Your CHIP plan, same thing. Workforce development plan, same thing. Your QI plan, same thing. In addition to plans, you're going to have divisions, offices, or programs as group reporting up into that level 1 group. Things like the tobacco program. The reason you see it highlighted in blue is because we're going to use this as an example as we go through all of these planning elements to build an operational plan. You may notice that some of the abbreviations have a number in front of them. Subgroups are sorted by this abbreviation So this just allows you to sort the plans if you'd like to. These primary plans are typically entered under the department level group, but can be entered anywhere in the org chart. Under each of these groups are the services and initiatives. The services and initiatives are the big buckets. Services are typically ongoing things. Initiatives are things you'd like to accomplish in the future. In less complicated plans, the service and initiative can be the top of the plan. Here are some real examples of services and initiatives. Healthy moms and babies. Readiness for emerging health threats. Effective agency processes. Access to care. Behavioral health and substance abuse. Population health. Organizational excellence. Chronic disease prevention and control. Health disparities. And again, tobacco cessation, which we'll be using as an example as we move forward here. For each service or initiative, you'll have a set of goals. What's your pie in the sky goal? In general terms, what are you trying to accomplish? Here are some real examples of goals. Reduce the risk of infectious disease. Promote safe and sanitary food establishments. Support communities in building resiliency. Enhance healthcare through technology. Drive health in all policy agendas. Reduce the risk of vaccine-preventable diseases. Promote public health readiness and response. Promote succession planning and career growth. Integrate a data-driven best practices approach. This last goal for our example plan is reduce smoking in high schools. We could also have additional goals like reduce smoking in colleges and reduce smoking in public places. Note that these goals generally start with an action verb: reduce, promote, enhance, integrate, support, but don't get too specific like dates and quantities, things like that. Each goal will have a specific set of measurable objectives. What is the specific target? Objectives are typically SMART: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Here are some real examples of SMART objectives. By December 2022, identify 2 or more strategies to collaboratively reduce risky alcohol-related behaviors. By December 2022, 80% of educators and school staff have been exposed to adverse childhood experiences awareness education. By June 2022, provide 6 training opportunities for first responders who work with individuals with mental health crises. By the end of the 4th quarter, all programs will have established goals, objectives, and activities to be reported on within the VMSG dashboard. Reduce smoking at Wayne High School by 25% by the end of the school year is one of the objectives in our example plan. Other similar objectives might be to reduce smoking by some percent in other schools in the community by the end of the school year. To accomplish the stated objective within the given time frame requires a set of action steps. These are the activities. Activities are truly the operational portion of the plan. What steps will you take to reach the SMART objective? How will you know when you've completed each step? There are 3 basic types of activities in the VMSG dashboard. The most commonly used type of activity is called a project-based activity. Project-based activities have an activity statement describing what is to be done. In this case, create training for students and faculty on the dangers of smoking. A performance metric, which just answers the question, how will we know when we've successfully completed the activity? In this case, we'll know by the training content and materials have been created. A date range within which the activity will be completed. So in this case, we have August 1st, 2020 through August 31st, 2020. The assignment of team members and 1 or more team leaders. The assignment of any external partners involved with this activity. The metric or measurement, which is simply a % complete in a project-based activity. This is one of the activities for our example plan. The second type of activity is the quality assurance or QA activity. The QA activity is the most automated and has a few unique features. Instead of a beginning and end date, it has a cycle start date and a frequency. The QA activity repeats weekly, monthly, quarterly, etc. Based on the target values you set for the green light and red light, the traffic lights are set automatically, indicating where the metric is in relation to the targets. When the current data point is entered, the dates will move ahead automatically to the next cycle start date. In this example, we'll provide 9 training sessions each month on the dangers of smoking to students and faculty. We'll set the green light to a target quantity of 9 sessions per month. This means that if we provide 9 or more sessions per month, the traffic light will automatically be set to green. We'll set the red light to a target quantity of 6 sessions per month, meaning that if we only do 6 sessions or less per month, the light will be set to red. If we do more than 6 and less than 9 sessions, the light will be yellow. We'll set the cycle start date to September 1st, 2020, and have the activity repeat monthly. When we update the number of sessions provided at the end of September, the cycle start date will move ahead to October 1st, 2020, and so on. The performance metric is automatically generated from the data points entered into the QA activity wizard. We'll show you this live in a few minutes. In this case, the performance measure will be set to training sessions provided measured monthly. Green is greater than or equal to 9. Yellow is greater than 6 and less than 9. And red is less than or equal to 6. Then we'll assign the team members and the team lead, as well as any external partners. The input metric or measurement each month will be the number of training sessions provided. The next type of activity is called a quantitative measurement or QM activity. The primary difference in QM activities is that the metric or measurement is a quantity instead of a percent complete. Number of car seats installed, number of training sessions provided, number of restaurant inspections completed. In this example, we'll contact all 20 vendors within 1 mile of Wayne High School to assure that they're not selling to minors. In the QM activity wizard, we'll set the target quantity to 20. When the actual number of vendors is entered regularly, this will calculate the percent complete. If you've contacted 10 vendors so far, you'll be 50% complete. Then we'll set the date range to August 1st, 2020 through May 30th, 2021. The performance measure is automatically generated from the data points entered into the QM activity wizard. In this case, the performance metric will be 20 tobacco vendors contacted between August 1st, 2020 and May 30th, 2021. Again, we'll assign team members and a team lead, as well as any external partners. The input metric or measurement each month will be the number of vendors contacted. This is an example of the plan we've been showing in an outline format. This is a simple example of an operational plan all the way down the pyramid to implement the tobacco cessation program. The plan was developed under an existing or new group called tobacco programs. The service or big bucket here is tobacco cessation. The first goal is reduce smoking in high schools. The first SMART objective for this goal is reduce smoking at Wayne High School by 25% by the end of the school year. The activities or action steps to achieve this objective are create the training, provide the training sessions, and contact tobacco vendors. A second goal might be to reduce smoking in colleges, with the first objective being reduce smoking at Wright State University by 25% by the end of the school year. Here's the same operational plan shown in the pyramid format. Some people like to visualize the plan on paper before entering it into the dashboard. This is an example of an operational planning template you can use to do just that. What you're seeing is the first part of the plan for the tobacco cessation example we've been discussing. Here you can see the service or initiative, the first goal, a few objectives for this goal, and the activities for the first objective with their related fields. Typically, you'll use several of these tables to create your plans. Now, let's actually develop an operational plan in the system. We'll use this template to create, copy, and paste this into the dashboard. Okay, here's the operational plan template we just developed in a Word document here. And I'm going to toggle over to the dashboard itself. So here's the main menu of the dashboard. First thing we'll do is go up to the Groups tab here. And let's go ahead and put the tobacco cessation program under Community Health. So I'm going to go down and select Community Health as my parent group. I'll go down and hit the little plus button down here, add a new group. We're going to call this group Tobacco as an abbreviation, and Tobacco Programs. You'll notice down here that the parent group set to where I was, which is Community Health. And since Community Health is a level 2 group, it set this to be a level 3 group in here. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Now, it's going to come up and ask me, how do I want to set the permissions? If I want everybody to be able to edit this plan, make changes to it, make updates to it, I can use all edit. If I use all view, it's going to give everybody view access, meaning they can see it, but they can't change it except for myself and the people who are the org admin users. And then I can just say just me. Typically, if you're just testing something, you might say just me to start with. Most commonly, you use all view because then you can go back and change the permissions later on if you want to. So we'll set all view for now. So now you notice we've got this new group down here called Tobacco Programs. So next thing we're going to do is go to the Services Initiatives tab here. And notice we have nothing in there. So we'll toggle back over to the operational plan. So our service up here is tobacco cessation. So we're going to go ahead and copy that. Now, the easiest way to copy back and forth between a Word document or PDF and the dashboard is to highlight it up in here and then use on your keyboard Control-C, or in the case of a Mac, I believe it's Command-C. I'll use Control-C here to copy that. I'll go back over to the dashboard. I'm going to go down here on the bottom. Either I can hit the plus button here, or when I'm adding the first service in here, it's going to make me hit this button down here. So I'm going to hit that. Now I'm going to hit Control-V as in Victor to paste that into there, and I'm going to go ahead and save it. Now, if you wanted to mark this as an initiative, something you're going to be doing in the future, then you could mark this checkbox here as initiative here, but typically it might be a service at this point in time. So now we have the service in there. Let's go back to our document. Okay, so the service was tobacco cessation. The first goal is going to be to reduce smoking in high schools. So I'm going to highlight that, Control-C again, tab back over to the dashboard. I'm going to go down to the goals underneath this particular service. Again, I'm going to add my first goal here. Down in here, I'm going to hit Control-V for Victor again, and reduce smoking in high schools. It automatically sets it as goal number 1, sets the traffic light to green, so we'll leave it at that for now. I'm going to go ahead and hit the save button here, and now we have reduce smoking in high schools as our goal. So let's go back over to our document. So now we have a couple of objectives, so let's go ahead and put both of them in there. So the first one is to reduce smoking at Wayne High School by 25% by the end of the school year. Again, Control-C, tab back over here, go down to the objective level, come down here and say, okay, Control-V, reduce smoking. So you notice it copied the 1 in there, so we'll go ahead and take that out of there. So we've got reduce smoking at Wayne High School by 25% by the end of the school year. Go ahead and hit save. Now, the next thing we probably want to do is assign the objective lead, the person who's going to guide us to that particular objective. So I'm going to hit the little down arrow here. You'll notice nobody shows up because we're in a new group that nobody's assigned to. So I'm going to hit show all users here. I'm going to go ahead and assign myself to this and hit save. So now I've got that assigned. Again, I'm going to go back and hit the save button. Pretty much always when you get done changing anything down here, you can hit the save button just to make sure it's in the database. So now I've got that first objective. Let's go back and grab the second objective here, which is to reduce smoking at Desert Vista High School by 25% by the end of the school year. Again, Control-C, go back over to here. Let's go ahead and add a second objective. Notice we're in here already, Control-V. And again, I'm going to go ahead and take out the 2 in there, save that. And let's go ahead and assign, Diane to this one here. Save that. And again, save the objective. Okay, so now I have a goal and 2 objectives. Let's go back to our first objective up here and look at the activities. So as you recall, we had 3 different types of activities. So we're going to go ahead and put those in there. So our first activity is going to be to create training for students and faculty on the dangers of smoking. I'm going to go ahead and grab that. Control C, head back over here. Now, you may recall that that was a project-based activity here. So we're going to head and paste that in there. Control V, create training. The performance metric or target in this case was that the training content and materials are created. Control C, go back over here. Control V, paste that in there. We're going to go back now and say we're going to do it between 8/1/20 and 8/31/20. We can either copy and paste those or just go and either hit the drop down here and go over to, August 1 of 20 and August 31st of 20. And so far, since we're not even there yet, we're going to say it's 0% done. I'm going to go ahead and save that. So now we've got the project-based activity in there. Go back over here and we say we've got John Doe and Jane Smith. Well, unfortunately, I can't put them in there because they're not in the system as users. But we'll go ahead and assign the activity leads in there. So let's go back over here and hit the little pencil icon right here. And we're going to hit the little red X to open up the whole department. And in this case, we've got the folks down here. So I'm going to assign myself as the team lead. By doing that, automatically it assigns me as a team member and also the email recipient, the person who's going to get that status email to update this particular activity. And we're going to assign Diane as a team member in here. I'm going to go ahead and hit save here. So now you notice we have the L here. L indicates team lead, and the L in blue indicates email recipient as well. So then we've got Diane in here. We could also assign activity partners. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's just go ahead for kicks and we'll assign Andrea's car seat installation and Andrea shown as our partner in here to do that. So now we have our partner down in there as well. Again, I'm going to go back and save it one more time here. So that's activity number one, our project-based activity. Now back to our template here. Let's grab activity number two, which is to provide 9 training sessions each month on the dangers of smoking. So this is going to be our QA activity, our quality assurance activity. So we'll go back here, hit plus to add a new activity. Go ahead and paste that into here, Control V. Oops, didn't get it copied. Control C, back over here. Control V, there we go. Now we got it in there. Okay, now we're going to make this a QA activity. So I'm going to hit the drop down and select QA activity. When I do that, it pops open my wizard here. So I'm going to go down. If you recall, it was a monthly activity. So we're going to do this every month. And let's go back to here and say, okay, we're going to make this a monthly activity. Our start date was going to be 9/1/20. So we'll go ahead and just put in. And if you just put in the date, it'll pick up the current year in there. Now, we closed the wizard, so we're going to open that back up with the little wizard button right here. Now, our green target here, if you recall, was 9, meaning that if we get to 9 every month, we're good. And if we're less than or equal to 6, it's going to turn it red. Then our metric type here, to go back, was to be 9 training sessions provided each month. So we're just going to say training sessions provided down here. And when I hit save, it should come in and say, okay, training sessions provided, measured monthly, green is greater than or equal to 9, yellow is greater than 6 and less than 9, and red is less than or equal to 6 in here. So I'm going to go ahead and just save this. And we'll go ahead and add a team lead to this. Let's just add Diane as our team lead in here. So she's automatically a team member and the email recipient in here. So we'll add that in there. So that's the QA activity. So what it's going to do is automatically repeat. So every time we enter a value in here, at the end of the month, it's going to come back in and say, do you want to reset that beginning date, the start date here? And it's going to give you the option of picking today or picking the cycle date based on the monthly cycle, depending on when you actually update it. Or you can just pick a date to put in there if you want to. Now, let's go back here and grab our third activity, which is to contact all 20 tobacco vendors within a mile of Wayne High School to ensure they're not selling to minors. We're going to go ahead and copy that. Control C. Hopefully I'll get it this time. Go back into here. We're going to add a new activity. And paste it into here, Control V, there we go. Now we're going to call this a quantitative measurement activity. Again, our wizard opens up, and we're going to say that was 8/120 to 5/30/21. So we're going to say 8/1, since it's already 20, it'll pick that up. 5/31/21. Our target number was 20. So that's what we're looking at. It's going to measure what we put in there against the 20 and calculate the percent complete for us here. And then our vendors contacted. So we'll just put in here vendors contacted. Now we have two options down here. Either enter a new total value. Each time you enter it, you're going to say, this is the total that we've done. Or if you're going to be updating this, say, on a monthly basis, you might just want to put in the number that you did last month. So we're going to say, enter a value to add to the total. So whatever the total is in there, we're going to add a value to enter to it. So now you'll notice that it created the performance metric for us. 20 vendors contacted between 8/1/20 and 5/31/21. Go ahead and save that. And I'm going to go back into here, and we'll go ahead and assign, let's assign Mara to this one as the team lead in here. And we'll assign Steve as a team member, and go ahead and save that, and save it again. So, okay, now we've got the 3 activities in there. I don't believe we had anything for the other objective. We hadn't put any information, but that is the entire process of entering the plan. Now, what I always like to do when I get back to get the plan pretty well in there the way I like it, I want to go back and see how it actually looks all laid out. So I'm going to go back to my groups tab here. I'm going to select tobacco, and I'm going to go up to my reports menu up here, the blue. Click on that. I'm going to say, show me an operational plan report. And it's going to ask me, some cases, if I have any hidden services, which I do in this demo organization here. It's going to ask me if I want to include those. In this case, we're going to say no, because none of these are hidden. And it's going to create a little report for me that shows up here we have the group up here, tobacco program. We have the service, tobacco cessation. We have that goal to reduce smoking in high schools. Objective 1 here was to reduce smoking at Wayne High School. We have the specific activities and how we're doing down there. The next objective, and if we built these same activities into there, we could continue on down the plan there. So this is the operational plan for the tobacco cessation program here. In this section, we'll enter a portion of an existing strategic plan into the dashboard. We'll be using a plan from our demo organization, USA Public Health. What you're looking at now is the Word document of the strategic plan. First thing we're going to do is go over to the dashboard itself. And we're going to go to our Groups tab and create a new group specifically for the strategic plan. So we're going to select the department levels, and we'll be putting the strategic plan right under the department level. I'm going to go down and hit the plus button down here. Type in strategic plan. And we'll call it the USA Public Health (2020) through 2025. I'm going to go ahead and save that. Again, I'm going to get the option to set the user settings on it. I'm going to go ahead and pick all view, meaning that I have read-write access and everybody else has view access for now. Now, you notice that it's sorted alphabetically, so it's down here at the bottom. I want to put it back up here at the top underneath the department. So what I'm going to do, just go in and put a 1 dash in front of it here. And when I save it again, you notice it now sorts up to the top here. So it's just sorting alphabetically by the abbreviation there. Now that we have the new strategic plan group, let's go ahead and add the vision, mission, and values for the plan. So I'm going to toggle back over to the plan itself. I'm going to scroll down here to the page that has the vision, mission, and values on it, which is right here. So I've got the vision statement, mission statement, and the values. So I'm going to go ahead, for now, I'm going to highlight USA Public Health is a healthy and fulfilled community for all, and Control C to copy that. I'm going to toggle back over to the Dashboard. I'm going to select vision, mission, and values. I'm going to go up into my vision statement and hit Control V to paste it into there. Go ahead and hit Save. Now I'm going to go back to my document here. I'm going to grab the mission statement, highlight it, Control C, tab back over to the dashboard here, go into my mission statement, Control V, put that in there, go ahead and hit Save again. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the values into here. So I'll go back over here. First thing I want to do is grab the value abbreviation, in this case, integrity and honesty. So highlight that, Control C, back over here. Now I'm going to go down and add the first one, put that in the abbreviation, Control V. Go down here to the value statement, go back over here, and I'll grab that. Control C again, tab back over, hit Control V, and then go ahead and save that. So now we have the first one in there. Let's go back and grab the second one. The second one is accountability. I'll go ahead and highlight that. Control C, hit over here. Let's go ahead and add a new value. Control V, tab back over here. We take responsibility. Control C, go back over here, go down here, Control V, save that. As you can see, I went ahead and entered the rest of the values in there, so you didn't have to watch me go through that process here. Next thing we're going to do is enter the services and initiatives. So I'll go up and click on that tab, and we're obviously empty now. Let's toggle back over to the document here, and we'll scroll down and find the services and initiatives here. Which in this case are called strategic priorities, like we talked about earlier here. So you can see we have 5 of them in here. So let's go ahead and copy those in there. So first thing I'm going to do is highlight organizational excellence. Control C. Over here, add my first one. Control V. Notice it put the 1 in there. So we'll go ahead and take that out. Save that. Go back over here, grab the second one, collectively communicate to improve the public's perception. Control C, tab back over here, hit plus, Control V, again, get rid of the 2, save that. Go back over here, collaboration, networking for growth. Control C, go back over here, add a new one. Control V, take out the 3, save that. Again, you can see I finished up and entered the last 2 priorities into there for you. Now let's go ahead and select organizational excellence, and we'll go ahead and enter the goals for organizational excellence. We're going to go up and select the goals tab. Go back over to the document here. Now we're going to scroll on down and find the strategic goals and objectives here. So under the priority of organizational excellence, which is where we are, the first goal is to become an accredited public health agency. So we'll capture that. Control C. Go back over to the dashboard, add a new goal here. Control V. And we're going to go ahead and save that. At this point in time, if we know the status of that, we can change the flag. But typically, it's going to start out as green. And over time, you may change the flags to yellow, red, or gold, depending on the status of the particular goal here. Let's go back and grab the next one here. So that was goal 1. We'll scroll down here and find goal 2. Here we go. Grab that one. Control C. Go back over here. Add a new goal. Control V. Go ahead and save that. Back over here again. Scroll down, find the third one. Control C. Add a new one. Control V, save that. Go back. Let's see if there's another one. There's goal 4. Okay, looks like the last goal. Control C. Tab back over here. Save that. Control V. So that's the goals for the first priority. To do the rest of them, you're just going to go down and select the priority, go to the goals tab, and add the goals for that particular priority. So for now, we'll just stay on organizational excellence. Back to our Goals tab. Now let's go ahead and add the objectives for Goal 1 up here, become an accredited public health agency. So we're going to select that goal, go up to the Objectives tab here. We'll go toggle over to the plan again. Okay, so let's grab this first objective. Control C to copy it. Go back over here, go ahead and add the first one. Control V, save that. At this point in time, we may want to add the objective lead as well. So we'll click on this little down arrow here. We've got nobody in the strategic plan group itself. So we're going to say show all users to give me everybody in the organization. I go ahead and select Diane as our objective lead here. Save that. Go ahead and save it again. Okay, now let's go back and grab the next objective here. Just down here, objective 2. Control C, tab back over here, hit the plus button to add that. Control V, save that. Now we're going to go ahead and select the objective lead again. Let's go ahead and select Fred for this one. Save it again. Back over to our plan. Scroll down and grab objective 3 here. Go ahead and add that. Save it. Hit the drop down again. And let's make William as our objective lead here. Save that. Save that. So now we've got the 3 objectives added. You'll notice the objectives are fairly specific. You know, that SMART format we talked about: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-based. So they all have a time base on here, and we're very specific about what we're trying to accomplish at this point. Each objective also has a measurement or metric that you can set down here in the bottom left corner. The default is objective % done, but you can change that. So you can measure either a % done, or you can measure a decimal value in here, and you can change the titles. So you might want to, if you're measuring a decimal value, you might want to put count of, and then we'll say widgets. And I'm going to call it a decimal value. So now it's going to show up down here as a count of widgets if I'm counting, you know, particular values in here. I can go back here and say and just say %, and then call that a % calculation in here. So what I'm going to do is, as I progress through this objective, I'm going to go in and put a value in here to indicate how far along we are in that particular objective in here. Now let's go ahead and enter the activities for this third objective here. So we'll go up to the activities button up here. Now let's go back over to the plan. And for the objective 3, it looks like we have 4 activities. So let's go ahead and grab the first one here. Control C, tab back over here. Again, new one. Control V, and it looks like it carried the dot over, so we'll get rid of that. It says select 10 directors and staff to be members of the performance management team to represent all departments. Okay, so it looks like we're looking for a quantity here. So let's go ahead and make that a quantitative measurement activity here. We're going to get the wizard. So the start date, let's call that January 1st, 20, and the end date we'll make May 30th. Our target number here is to get 10 directors, and the metric type we'll call directors and staff selected. And down here at the bottom, we have the ability to put in either a new total value each time, or each time we update it, we can enter a value to add to the total. So let's go ahead, and for this case, we'll just say enter a new total value. We'll save that. So you notice that it creates the performance metric for us. It says 10 directors and staff selected between 1/1/20 and 5/30 of 20. Down here is where we put in the actual number that we'd put in the actual value here. So you notice if we put in like 5, it calculates it to be 50% done because it's 5 divided by the 10 in there. We're going to go ahead and save that one. Now we're going to go ahead and select a team for that. So we're going to click on the little pencil icon here. Again, there's nobody in the strategic plan group. So we're going to say either select a drop down and pick from another group or just open it up to show everybody in the department. So in this case, we'll pick William Erickson as our team lead. And when we select a team lead, it automatically makes him a team member, as well as makes him the default for getting the email notifications to update this particular activity. And we'll make Fred as a team member here. We'll go ahead and save that. So now we notice that we have William as a team lead, and the blue indicates he's going to get the email notifications, and then Fred is a team member down here. We'll go ahead and save that again. So that's our first activity, the QM activity. Let's go ahead and go back over here, grab the second activity, which is review and select a performance management system. So Control C on that, tab back over here. Let's go ahead and hit the plus button, add a new activity, Control V. So we'll get rid of the little dot again. Review and select a performance management system. That's probably a project-based activity. It's kind of a project in itself, so we'll leave it there. Now, the next thing we're going to put in is, how do we know when we've successfully completed that? So the idea is to review and select a performance management system. Once you've selected a performance management system, you've completed this particular activity. So we'll call it performance management system selected. Going to say the start date, we'll call it June 1, 6/1 through 6/15. Why not? And since we're not even started yet, according to the dates, we'll just leave that as 0% complete. Go ahead and save that. And again, we'll go ahead and add a team to there. Hit the little red X to open it up. Let's say Fred's going to be the team lead on that. And we'll have Diane as a team member with Fred on that. Go ahead and save that. Save it again. Now we'll go back and grab the next activity here. Activity 3 is, it says VMSG dashboard selected, VMSG to provide training for 10 p.m. users. Okay, Control C, go back over here, add a new one, paste that in there. Again, we'll go take out the little dot. And again, we're looking for training for 10 users. So probably, again, a quantitative measurement activity. So we'll hit the drop down again, hit QM activity. Put in a start date. So until we get the system, we can't start training. So let's start immediately at like 6/16 and make it through 6/30. Target number again is 10. Users trained. And let's go ahead and make this one enter a new value to add to total. So every time we update it, we're going to be able to count up how many folks have been trained in here. So again, it builds the performance metric for you here. 10 users trained between 6/16 and 6/30/20. And then down here, it says add to the total. So whatever number we have already in here is going to be added to down here. Go ahead and save that. Again, we would add a team member or team leader and team member in there. We'll skip that point for now. Go back to the next activity, which is strategic plan with priorities, goals, objectives, actions to be entered in the VMSG performance management system. As you know, that's what we're doing now. Control C, tab back over there, go ahead and plus add a new one. Control V, I'll take out our little dot again. So I guess how do we know when we've done that? And I guess basically the plan has been entered, so. Okay. And we'll say that is 6/25 through 6/30, since we're supposed to have this done by 6/30 according to the objective here. And again, 0 because we haven't really started on that point yet here. Save that. The other thing that we'll want to do again is go add the team of folks to be in there. If there's any external partners, we could add those in there by clicking on this and saying, okay, we're going to say maybe Knowledge Capital Alliance and Fred Erickson is our partner there. We'll save that. So now we have an external partner associated with this particular activity. Again, we'll save it. So now we have the 4 activities that make up that particular objective entered into the system. Now that we've worked our way all the way down the plan pyramid here, let's look at a couple of other things. First of all, you may be in a position where you're looking and seeing, okay, we're on the activity screen here, but I really don't remember exactly where I am as far as services, goals, objectives, activities, etc. So down here at the bottom, we have what we call the cookie crumb. And you can always roll your mouse over and see exactly where you are. So it's showing the abbreviation of strategic plan. You roll over, you see the description. Same thing with the services, goals, objectives, and activities. It always gives you the ability. You can also click on those and go right back to that particular planning element level as well. So that's number one. Now, the other thing we might want to do is let's go back to our group screen here, and we've got strategic plan highlighted. Let's say we want to attach the actual document that we're copying and pasting from just for future reference down here. So down here on every screen, you notice this little blue folder, which is your document management. I'm going to click on that. It takes me document management screen. I'm going to add a document, which is going to be that plan itself. When I click on the plus button, it says choose a file. So I'll go to here. I'm going to select USA Public Health Strategic Plan.doc and open that. And now I'm going to say upload the file. So now the file is actually in there. So I've got the ability now to put in a description and some notes. So I'm just going to call this Strategic Plan for 2020 through 2025. And just putting a note in there that's partially entered. And we'll go ahead and say it's kind of yellow because it's on the way. It's not done yet. And we'll just go ahead and save that. So now you can see I've got that document actually attached right to where it belongs, which is to the group of the strategic plan. So I can use the back arrow to get back to there. Now, the other thing I like to do once I get to a place in a plan, I just want to see the whole plan kind of in a big format here. So I can select the strategic plan group, go up to my reports button up here, click on that and say, okay, I want to see the operational plan report for the strategic plan. So I'll click on that. If I have any services hidden, which apparently I do in this organization, it gives me the option to show those services or not. We'll say no for now. Now it's going to show me the strategic plan, starting out with the vision, mission, and values. You recall we entered those down here. When I scroll down, you'll see what we have already entered. So we've got the group, we've got the service, organizational excellence, the goals, the objectives. You can see the activities that we've entered down in here. So it just gives you a good snapshot of where you are in the plan. Now, a couple of other things you can do. You can see the buttons at the top. I can go in here and say, I want to see that document that we attached. So when I do that, you're going to notice that document shows up right here under the group where we attached it. And you can attach documents anywhere in there. Typically, they're done at the activity level, it seems to most often here. If you have any notes in any of the fields at the goal, objective, or activity level, you can show them or hide them up here. And then you can look at the plan at any different level. So sometimes you may just want to see what are the services that we're looking at in here. So I click on that button, it shows you that we have those 5 services in there. Again, I can then go down to the services and the goals, get down to that level here. So I can scroll down, you can see that we have the services and the goals that we've entered, and all the way down to the activity level here. So this just gives you a good ability to go back and get a good snapshot of exactly where you are in the planning process here. Okay, now let's look at a couple of other nice features to use while you're developing or entering plans here. Let's go back up to our group screen here and go down to the strategic plan again, and under services. Now we're going to go down under healthy behaviors. We've entered a little part of a plan in there that we can use to show some of the nice features here. So down to the goals here, assure clean and healthy environments at all restaurants in our community is the goal. Go down, look at the objective here. One of the objectives would be that restaurant inspectors will each inspect 10 restaurants per month. Okay, so that's kind of a nice feature here. It'd be nice to know at this level how many restaurants were inspected. So we'll show you that in a second here. Now down to the activity level. So what we're probably going to do at this place is have an activity for each inspector so we can track each of their performance as they're going through the month here. So you see we have Diane Cox will inspect 10 restaurants a month. Mara Funke will inspect 10 restaurants a month. Now, if we want to just say we're going to add, let's say Tom Keller as a restaurant inspector in here, instead of having to re-enter all this information, we can use the copy and paste feature here. So I'm going to go down here to the little copy button, click on that. Got the paste button lit up now, and I'm going to go ahead and paste that in. So it's going to say, do you want to change the traffic light or leave it as is? Let's go ahead and just say, we'll change it to green for now. Okay, so now we've got a copy of that particular activity. You notice it says copy on the end, so we'll just get rid of that. And instead of Mara Funke, we're going to change that to Tom Keller. And we'll go ahead and save that. Do you want to update the start date? These are quality assurance activities, so it's asking us when we make a change, do we want to update the cycle start date here? We'll say no for now. Now, we're also going to then, for each of these people, we're going to assign them as the activity lead here. So we're going to click on little X again, bring it down. So you see we have Mara assigned there. We want Tom Keller to be assigned. So I'm going to click on team lead for Tom Keller and just take Mara out of the equation here. So now Tom Keller is the activity lead and the email notification for his particular activity. So what's going to happen when those notification emails go out, Tom is going to get an email asking him to come in here and update the number of actual restaurant inspections that he completed. So you see down here that we have 8 restaurant inspections completed down here. So we'll go ahead and save that. Say nope. Okay, so now we can easily copy and paste where we have very similar activities to go down here. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is, like we were talking about, I want to be able to roll up the total number of restaurant inspections completed by each inspector to the objective level. To do that, we just use this roll up button over here. Click on all 3 of those. Now, one thing to know is that you can only roll up like types of activities and only quality assurance activities and quantitative measurement activities because they can both be quantity based here. So now I've got the 3 of those set to roll up. If I go back to the objective level, down here in the bottom right corner, you can see the activity roll up here. And you got 2 choices, either the sum, so we had the sum of all 3 of them, or the average. What's the average each one is doing? In this case, it's 8.7 per month here. So we look at the sum and say, okay, we're looking for a total of 30 probably, and in this case, we have 26 total in there. So I'm going to save that, and that'll save this, basically it's sum and not average, but you can change it anytime you want to. So that's a couple of nice features, is being able to roll up the activities to the objective level, and then secondarily being able to copy activities that are similar in there. Well, you made it to the end. From this training module, we hope you now have a good idea on how to create an operational plan and how to enter an existing plan into the VMSG dashboard. Some of the best learning will come as you actually develop or enter a plan yourself. Best of luck, and please contact us if you have any questions. We're always happy to help you to review, develop, or enter any of your plans in a dashboard. Remember, it's progress over perfection.